Good morning, everyone. I love this reading, and of course, it's a perfect reading for any bhakti yogi. So I was just listening to everything that happened this morning. It just so happens that the affirmation was on devotion, and Swamiji so beautifully weaves in Sri Yukteswar's words about opening, refining the natural love of the heart before we can even take one step on the spiritual path, which I'll come back to in a little bit. And then the affirmation. I mean, all of it is just so perfect. And then David saying that beautiful solo, God is truth, God is love. I remember when we were in Israel in 2020, our guide he's a very dear young man, but very set. He wasn't quite like the Pharisees, but it was in that direction. There was law and there was truth, and he sort of fell in love with us, but he couldn't quite ever get us. And so when we left, his wife was pregnant, and when I got home, I sent him a recording of that, because the line later on says, every mother brings to earth hints of thy love for all it's worth. And I thought maybe he could play that for his wife, and just, we would come in the side door, but with the energy, all of this beautiful energy that Swamiji has brought to us. I say this all the time in his writing, in his music, and then Mother of Wisdom. And I'm just sitting up here thinking, what would the Pharisees have felt if we had been able to bring all of this beautiful teaching in this way? Of course, there was Jesus himself trying to do that, but he didn't sing to them. So who knows? Maybe a little music would have moved them. I don't know. But they were so staunchly set in their ways. They're actually known for that. Just the letter of the law, of the Torah, of all of the teachings, and they were so firm about it. I didn't even know this till I read late last night or maybe early this morning, because, of course, their complaint here is about Jesus letting people eat without washing their hands. And then when I was reading about them, it says they were particularly focused on the washing of the hands. And I had no idea. The washing of the hands is probably one of those 613 laws that the Jews were supposed to obey every day. And, you can almost understand it. I know I've said this here before, but it's important in terms of understanding this teaching and what was being asked of Jesus, what he signed up for when he said, all right, I'll do it this time. I'll do it right at this very low point of Kali Yuga, this time, in these vast cycles of time where everything is set in stone, where people really can't think for themselves, where they love rules and laws, and they'll kill for them, literally. And the Jews particularly, who had come out of 400 and nobody really, I couldn't find it, let's just say 430 years of slavery, they actually needed rules and laws. They needed that for a while. It wasn't a horrible thing for them, but they couldn't move to intuition when it was time to do that. Well, it wasn't really time to do that, was it? It was still Kali Yuga.